Greetings everyone and welcome, I'm Unclear and today we're talking everything that was revealed in this morning's Edge of Fate reveal stream, trailers and discussions. Now it's quite a bit. If you want to watch the full breakdown, I have a video of that on my channel, so you can watch it in its entirety. It's about 50 minutes long. There's some pretty amazing content in there, definitely worth a watch if you definitely want to know every minute detail and see the trailers for yourself. But getting into just the bullet points, we had the Edge of Fate that was releasing July 15th. We had the reveal trailer. In amongst this trailer, discussion was brought about the 9. This whole Fate saga is supposed to be about 7 more years of Destiny 2. And it's about learning more about, it's about planting a bunch of seeds that will fruit later on. But for now it's about the 9 and how they are almost like celestial bodies in the solar system, starting from the sun, going out to the end of the universe there, or end of our stable 8 planets, being Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and how they embody those planets. After that, we actually had the Renegades as the next DLC pack coming in December. So that was pretty cool. We actually got a trailer for that happening at the end of this video. Following on from just the reveal talk and what we've seen in each trailer, definitely worth picking out some bits yourself. We got the story and gameplay trailer, which shows off some of the Kevlar terrain, the planetoid, the enemies we encounter. It looked pretty nice. It looked a lot like a like a Dark Souls swamp. It looked very interesting, looked like a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool traversal mechanics that are being introduced with this. There's a lot of obviously weapon overhauls and stuff being introduced, but the traversal stuff is things that stood out the most to me. And that was you get an ability called Matter Spark, and it's while we're on the planet of Kevlar, we actually infuse our super with dark matter, which is a non-seeable, not tangible thing. And it gives us different abilities. The one shown off in the gameplay trailer you'll see is actually arc. There's this, and you actually get to turn to a ball of arc energy and traverse off ledges, ramps, go through smaller tunnels that you wouldn't normally be able to traverse through to get to areas that you would never normally be able to reach. Theoretically, I'm sure someone would be able to Uber it out, but it looked pretty awesome, and I do honestly think following that will be a raid mechanic or a dungeon mechanic, because there's no reason to introduce this whole new thing and not have it in the raid. And that gave us the raid date. The raid date is the same week as the DLC, so July 15th is the release date, and then on the weekend I believe the raid drops. So it should be interesting. They said the 19th, which is a Saturday for me, so usually I thought it dropped on a Friday, but you know, it comes around with Saturday reset, so I'll double check the blog post, and I'll post a correction down in the description below if I get it wrong, but it should be the 15th, and then the 19th is when the raid comes out. Following that, we also got the daily, which launched today, which is the dungeon event, where you can get all your new shiny weapons, where you can get all your new gear. There's 3 ways to play, so if you're a new light player or a new player to the game or haven't done any of the dungeons before, there is a guided mode of each dungeon, which gives you way longer to revive. It gives you no revive tokens, it gives you a guided traversal mechanic. So if there's a jumping puzzle and you can't quite make it, once one person makes it, it brings up platforms for you. Has guided tooltips on mechanics and instructions on how to do them. So it's a really good way to get into these dungeons. But for a lot of people, I think you'll find Ghost of the Deep will be the hardest one to learn. The other 2 are quite easy. Prophecy and Spire are quite simple. The mechanics kind of carry through quite easily. But definitely worth doing all 3 of them if you haven't done any of them before. And if you get really confident, try them on the high difficulties to earn the best rewards. They also shown off the new home screen that we'll be getting in the Edge of Fate, which is the portal screen, which basically gives you a screen that allows you to navigate to content faster without going through the map and going to each planet, going to each section. It's just like a I want to do solo, here's a solo node. I want to do some group stuff, here's some group stuff. I want to do more aspirational content, it's there. I want to do hard in-game content, that's there as well. And if you want to just go to the new stuff, there's a node for that too. So it just has nodes on the main screen. I'm sure the other way will still be here, but that just gives you a more clean, simplified, unison look to make it easier for people to onboard, which I thought was really nice. They also spoke about a weapon and gear overhaul. So gear was the one shown off last, but weapon overhaul was shown off first. So weapons, new weapons in the DLC will have a gear system, and the way I believe this is going to work is the way you play your game will determine which gear tier you'll unlock. So if you play it with the new bones and modifiers, you can unlock up to tier 5 gear, and then once you've unlocked all tier 5 gear, you'll only really get tier 5 gear. Tier 5 gear has enhanced barrel perks and weapons, enhanced magazine perks, enhanced perks, it can have shiny variants. It just has... the one they showed on screen had 3 different perks in column 3 and 4, 2 different barrels, 2 different mags, and all of them are enhanced. And they can roll in shiny form, which is pretty fantastic. The gear has a similar system, can be up to tier 5 gear. Now gear is pretty amazing. That will actually get higher stats, so your stat range goes up to 200 each one, and each giving you progressive, each number counts as something. So if you have 75, 76, 77, they all count rather than just being tier 7, it's 76 out of 100. It's actually a nicer, cleaner way to get stat bumps, so you don't have to try and get those round numbers anymore. And doing that as well, the gear also has set bonuses, so you'll find yourself, you'll get some gear sets in the world. At tier 5, these gear sets have different perks, more perks. They also have 11 energy on the one they showed, so you can actually put more mods on your gear and more gear slots, so it actually looked like it really well worth farming for, so gear might be something you want to chase now. As well as them showing off that, they showed how to select your own difficulty and reward path for the content you want to pick. So with, like say you want to pick, on screen they show the inverted spire, you can actually pick the difficulty, you can pick the modifiers, the boons and the score requirements, and that will dictate your outcome reward at the end. So if you have no difficulty, it's a cakewalk, rewards are lower. Higher tier difficulties, higher tier rewards. Actually a really cool way to play. So if you just want to do a solo strike, which you can do now, you can launch a strike by yourself without having to have a fire team. You can select how you want to play that strike and what mods you want to put on it. So who knows, we may get a challenge run community back in Destiny 2 for all this different kind of content. One of the biggest things that was announced is there's no more paid seasonal content. So you get the 2 drops in the year, and after each 2 drops there'll be a major an update similar to Into the Light following each expansion. So there'll be no more seasonal content. So like there'll be no more like what's what we got now, like Nether, that sort of stuff won't be there because it goes away at the end of each year. This will be updates like Into Light, so you have Onslaught added to the game, things like that along those lines. So not a massive content drop, but still quite a decent content drop. I do believe for the 2 DLCs and 2 drops of the Into the Light size, we'll be getting better content that should be pumping more life into the game. Following that, we got the announcement of the first content drop following Edge of Fate, and that is going to be called Ash and Iron. And in that, we'll be getting the Plaguelands back. And bringing that through, we'll get new weapons, new armor, and a brand new exotic quest. So that's yet to be revealed. So that looks pretty fantastic. Plaguelands haven't returned since the Rise of Iron, which was 7, almost 8 years ago. So after 8 years, we're finally returning to the Plaguelands. This weekend, we have Tanks vs Briggs in Heavy Metal. This actually has its own reward structure, and it's free to all players. And if you play enough of it and play through the tier levels of the pass, which is free, the pass is free, you actually be earning a new combat sparrow called a Griffin, which didn't get revealed too much about. We have an image of it, but it looked pretty fantastic. So I guess we'll be putting skimmers down for an attacking sparrow, because that'd be cool. And I just want to say, with Arms Week coming and the playgrounds returning, I'm hoping we get the D1 raid we've all been waiting for, and slip it up since 3 in the morning. I cannot remember for the life of me what that is called. After Edge of Fate launches, we'll be getting something called Arms Week, and during that week there'll be a brand new legendary weapon to chase. That will have new weapon mods, a shiny skin for that weapon, and some pretty crazy perk synergy and mods that go live with it. And that led us to the most insane reveal during Arms Week that will be coming through. Once first Arms Week has been and gone, they'll also be giving us a shooting range. Now, the shooting range will be in the tower, and it will be a permanent feature in Destiny going forward from then. This allegedly is just super, has a rally flag, you can put in champions, multiple enemies, you can make them move around, and it gives you true damage numbers for damage testing in the tower. And you actually have your entire fire team or raid team in the tower damage testing on enemies, optimize rotations, which is pretty fantastic. So that looks like it will be the most hyped thing that's come out of this. Like, honestly, everything else is really cool. Having a proper shooting range with a scoreboard system with enemies that are dynamic and can move around, and you can change them in and out, put champions in there as well. And then you can also use super, so you really can pull off a proper damage test and damage rotation in the tower. Is pretty phenomenal. Following that, we also had the new Solstice event that will go live shortly as well. I think it goes live summer. For me, it's winter, so it's kind of weird. That also gives us a new holofoil with aspirational content to chase as well. The holofoil was like this beach weapon, so there's like a sandy beach shore on the gun. Actually looks pretty cool. And then at the end of all the reveal trailers, the second DLC of the year was announced. It was Renegades. That was shown off as well. That is like a very heavily Star Wars themed season. Oh, it's the DLC pack, and that looked pretty phenomenal. But that is it. That was sort of announced. There's a few bits and bobs I won't really discuss. They're not really worth talking about. But the gameplay trailers, the weapon stuff, all fantastic content. So if you are a new player or wanting to return to Destiny, there's a lot of content coming in new ways of making it easier to join in with friends. One more thing I did forget is if you're a PvP player, you'll be able to get to max power level purely in Crucible now. You don't have to do any PvE content to reach your pinnacle in power caps. So yeah, that is everything that we got from today. Any questions, queries or comments, leave down below. And if you see the red circle on my name, be sure to check me out. I'll be live here on YouTube helping out with the dungeon event. Anyway guys, thank you all so much for watching. You guys have all been super fantastic. Until next time, stay safe, take care, bye for now.
By delivering 2 of these a year, we're upping the pace of major world and story events that really matter to players and are going to be pushing the Fate saga forward. And so we're trying radical new things with each of these expansions. And so alongside this new destination of Kepler, this exotic world that players will explore with brand new abilities, we also have world tiers. And world tiers allow you to take on a higher level of challenge on the destination in order to extract some of the best loot within the release. But what's cool about world tiers is as you play through the mainline